Okay, so I'm just thinking about politics in Nevada, and I was thinking about, I went with this chick I was dating one time. She had to get some blood work done for a job, and we're sitting in the lobby, and there's a teacher sitting there, and I didn't know she was a teacher at the time, but we got into a serious conversation, and I know what the conversation was in the teachers' lounge the next day. Let's just say that, but it was during the time of the when the marijuana laws passed in Nevada, and everybody in Nevada was told that the money from the marijuana would go to the schools, and it was supposed to do all that. So we're talking about it, and I just got this idea in my head that it's not right. Like, okay, so one, you're talking about a drug dealer of a higher caliber. Basically, that's all you're really doing. You're selling somebody a license to sell you the same drug they were going to sell you on the street, but now you're taxing it and governing it. You, Period. It's like putting fences around an oil field in Saudi Arabia. So it's insane to me to think that my children's education is going to be in the hands of a bunch of drug users and drug dealers. It is what it is. It's legal now. You know what I'm saying? But I don't care what drug it is. Like that's just an insane idea to me. That's how we decided to get the money to pay for our kids' education. And when you look at the politics of Nevada, if you want to be real about it, Nevada is 84.9% owned by the federal government. I mean, more land in the state of Nevada is owned by the government than any other state in the country. And it's, and there's good reason. You got Area 51, you got, it's a huge nuclear dump site. I mean, they've got nuclear waste stored everywhere, and it's like, and it's also the silver states, that may have something to do with it too, because like, back in when I was a kid, silver was like $56 an ounce, and then somebody found a huge silver mine, and overnight, silver went from $56 an ounce to $20 an ounce, and that's pretty severe, So if you're looking at places like, well, they call it the silver state. I'm sure there's silver here, but you don't have mineral rights. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's federal land, then you can't find a silver mine there. You know what I mean? Like, this is impossible because you wouldn't own it. And so it could be a way to regulate the cost of silver or whatever. And it could be that I really don't know why, but 84.9% of the land is owned by the federal government. It seems crazy to me because I think the government should never own more than 50% of any state. What is the whole thing about separation of church and state? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have the controlling interests of a state, I mean, if you own 84.9% of the land in that state, you own a controlling interest, period. So that's kind of crazy. Where I'm going with this is schools are paid for by property tax. And a large part of the school's funding comes from the property tax that people pay. So when you're collecting property tax on 15.1% of the land in your country, I mean, in your state, you're shortchanging yourself as a state. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if the federal government owned 70% of the land in the state, I still wouldn't agree with it, but you'd collect double the property taxes because you've just doubled the amount of land you can collect tax on, because that's just the way it is. So it's crazy to me that we decided that giving drug users or allowing drug users to use drugs and giving drug dealers our money was the best way to increase our children's education. Instead of in this scenario where you literally could double the property tax and the government would still own 70% of the land in the state, and that would double the amount of funds that you're currently taking in for your school systems. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just think they should have looked at that a little harder. And I don't even think the teacher that I was talking to even knew that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, the conversation in the teacher's lounge the next day was our conversation we had that night. Yeah, it was an interesting conversation. She had voted for the marijuana laws because it was going to go to the schools, and she was frustrated that she ain't seeing that. And I was frustrated that you even thought of that. You know, like, so yeah, it was a good conversation. We got along, we talked, and it was what it was. But yeah, so Nevada and New Mexico, they bounce back and forth, 49-50, 49-50, really bad educations. But that I'm sure that has a big reason with the funding that we get and everything for our schools. But another thing that's been going on here a lot is teachers want more money, you know, and the community seems to back it. The news portrays it like the community backs it, and the whole idea to me is insane because let's just be real. That's a job, you know what I'm saying? And you're not the lowest paid teachers in the country. I've already researched it and everything like that. You're not even close to the lowest paid teachers in the country. Well, what you are the lowest at is the education that you're providing our children. And it seems insane to me that you'll be sitting in 50th place, but 37th in payment, and you think that you deserve a raise for what? For staying in 50th place? Oh, well, you went to 49 for a couple months, and then you went back to 50? 50 is last place. There's 50 states. This last place. Okay, so check this out. How about you get up to 45 and prove that you can do something, and then ask me for a raise? Because for real, it's not that bad of a job. And there's people that want to do it and that are happy doing it. There's people in the world that would probably be happy making minimum wage doing what they want to do. I'm not saying that's the correct thing to do, by no means. But I'm saying if you don't want to be a teacher, don't be a teacher. If you want to make more money, maybe you do something else or whatever the case might be. But don't come at me with the lowest educated kids in the country and tell me that you deserve a raise. And the only reason you're in last place is because you don't have enough money. Well, you can kiss my ass. You know, because the person that's making 50th in the money has like the 20th rated education. You know, like, so I'm like, even the lowest paid teachers educate their kids better than you do. And you're asking for more money. You need to, you know, it's like failing at something. And like, okay, so let's say I go to work tomorrow and I cost $10,000 worth of damage. I'm probably looking for another job, one. But how insane would that be to me, like, or to my employer ever throughout history, that I would go to him after doing that and say, well, you know, I think I need to make more money. You know, like, that's insane. But yeah, that's where I'm at. You know, dude, everybody needs to make more money. I mean, for real, like, everybody needs to make more money, not just the teachers, but nobody in last place should be getting a raise. All right, cool. I'm out.